Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to our first true assignment for advanced certification. As you can see, I have pulled up the screen in Canvas to look at the assignment. I went ahead and went to Assignment 1, Advanced Certification. This is what you will see. I'm looking at my student view of this, and you'll notice down here on this Turnitin editor piece, I want to explain that to you first. When I look at the student view, I see it through, through a student named test student who does not have any kind of Lindenwood credentials, and so that's why it has Turnitin error there. Hopefully you have another type of message there where you can just upload your paper once it's finished to Turnitin. That's how you will submit these papers in this course to me in the future. So what I wanted to do was take a few minutes to look at the tools that you have for writing these papers, sort of go through the instructions and so forth on what you are to do to complete this assignment. So first of all, I want you to notice that this assignment's due February 14th by 11:59, which is p.m., which is a few days away. I do want to encourage you, though, not to wait to the last minute to work on this, because you are going to need to collect some references, do some reading, some research. This paper should be a synthesis. Part of it should be a synthesis of what you find in that research. You also are going to be writing this in a scholarly academic language and tone, much like what you read in your journal articles or books on these topics that have been published. So the writing style is different. You want to be sure that you follow your APA manual in regard to writing scholarly papers. And one of the things that you'll need to keep in mind is that scholarly papers are written either in first or third person, never second person. I prefer that they're written in third person and that you don't even use first person, but because parts of this paper are reflections, your reflections, there may be a time that you say I this or that. So that would be understandable in this assignment. So let's take a look here at what all needs to be done. It says Assignment 1 is a continuation of the initial reflection, which is the assignment you just turned in to me. And I'm going to show you how that plays out here in just a few minutes. This assignment is a 10-page paper. It will start with the initial reflection of all 7 standards, and then it will also include the following. A, an initial reflection specifically on Standard 1. So you have your overall initial reflection about all of the standards, and then you're going to be writing a specific initial reflection on Standard 1. It should be a little bit more in depth. Part B, you will write reflections on each quality indicator. So under those standards or the quality indicators, you will speak then specifically to the quality indicators for Standard 1. And then on Part C, you will write a literature review with a minimum of 6 or 7 citations. So what you want to do is consider Standard 1, the topic there, and then you are going to do research on that on your own, and you'll be finding 6 or 7 citations. And D, a final reflection regarding understandings of Standard 1. This will be, of course, after your final reflection of this will be after you have done the literature review. So you've already looked at the standards as a whole, and you've refreshed your memory on those. As you think about these standards, I encourage you to think back when you think about Standard 1 specifically for the initial reflection, think back to all your coursework. Where have you seen the concepts of Standard 1 throughout your coursework? It may be that as you discuss school facilities, or as you discussed personnel, or as you discussed community relations or finance, or whatever it may be. Where did you see these concepts occurring throughout? and just sort of put down what do you remember about that? What have you learned? Then you're going to dig deeper with this review of literature. You're going to do some reading. I would look for either really foundational information on this, so some things that may be quite a bit older, or look for articles and such that are more current. And it may not be that the topic of the article is specifically this standard. It may be that it's about something else in schooling, but you see where Standard 1 is being applied, where that is something that is being considered as they write their article on whatever their topic might be. So really dig deep. You want to be sure, I think I said that these are scholarly writings. They're peer-reviewed, so books, journal articles, white papers, possibly dissertations written by other students. You will be citing those within your paper, so you'll need to have your APA manual nearby. You will also be creating a reference page, sorry. You'll be preparing a reference page, so be sure that you have your references properly formatted. Again, you need your APA manual nearby so that you can make sure all of that is done properly. I will be scoring for all of that, for content, for formatting, for language, tone, and style. All of those types of things are things that I'm going to give you feedback and score you for. So you can see this is a little bit bigger deal than a 3 to 5 page paper that might be mainly on your thoughts and was not quite as formal as this paper will be. So you want to keep all of those things in mind. Now, I want to take you also to your module section, because there are some helpers, some helpful pieces in here for us to look at. If you go to this page, you will notice, as we did before, you were directed to go to the resources and to begin working with the paper template, which was right here under Course Resources for Advanced Certification, paper template. There are some other resources here that you can look at, common errors on initial reflections. So take a look at that and see if there are things that you noted that maybe you did. I will be scoring your initial reflections today or tomorrow and sending those back to you with comments and so forth, so you can make corrections on those to be included. And then, as it said, you're going to take that same paper and carry on. So let's look at, I'm going to choose the example paper outline with notes so that you can look at that with me. Here is the formatting. So you could use this template. You can download this and work with it. You will leave this running head, special project, put your last name, and it's got the page number there. Then the Mosby Standards and Specialist Project, you would change this to Spring Semester 2021. And paper submitted for Lindenwood, or for EDA 6500 or 65,000 at Lindenwood University. And then here's your table of contents. I would leave this, I would only change this part as a piece of the paper is completed. So when you turn it in this time, you may have updated this part here for assignment 1. You'll notice initial reflection on 7 standards. That's the first part of the paper. Then you go to standard 1 reflection. You'll notice that begins on page 9, and from page 9 to page 13, that gives you well, it's going to give you more than 10 pages, okay? But it's from standard 1 reflection to final reflection of standard 1 that needs to be at least 10 pages. I'd say 10 to 12 pages would be best. And then you can scroll on down and take a look at, okay, here's standard 1. Now you will already have your initial reflection in there. Excuse me. So there's standard 1, assignment 1, and standard 3, standard 4, standard 5, 6, so on and so forth. Okay, standard 1, or I'm sorry, then you'll have your standard 1 final reflection, and then you'll go on to standard 2 reflection. And let me see, what did we have here? Standard 1. I think what they did was put standard 1. I may change this a little bit, but don't worry about this formatting here on this first piece. Let's see. I want to look at this a little bit more. Vision, mission, and goals, of course. I don't see where they have standard 2. I don't know if my screen is just scrolling over it. Management of organizational systems, collaboration, so forth, professional development. And then they come down to the standard 1 reflection, starting right here. So above this is the initial reflection, and that needs to be changed in this document that's been put on here. So that's something. Go ahead and follow the formatting that is on this document currently, and then I will do some changes. I don't have access to correct these documents, so I will just take care of correcting that for everyone and put it into the formatting that I think makes more sense. And if you have questions about this, contact me. I'll be happy to talk you through it. If you want to try to take care of it prior to turning it into me, for that part, I would prefer here on assignment 1 for us to have another heading below that says initial reflections, initial reflection of the 7 standards, and then go into the standard 1, so on and so forth. So anyway, I hope that's not too confusing to you, but that's how that looks, and we'll work that part out, and then the rest of the paper is just going to flow nicely as we go through. But this is a great paper for you to look at as far as the headings go, where they should be, and then also just a few comments that have been made. The comments that are made there are just comments on some of the common questions, errors, things that should be fixed. Of course, you see that the paper is not absolutely complete, but this gives you some ideas. Also, the other thing I want you to know is this paper is in APA 7 formatting, and you are using, or APA 6 formatting, and you're using APA 7 formatting. So that's another thing that we will work on together. I do score for the formatting, I score for the content, so those are things to look for, but I will also take time to work with you back and forth. This is an editing process. That's part of what we want to get used to. So anyway, this is where we're going over the next couple of weeks. Give yourself time to get this done. I recommend that you have it done on Saturday so that you enjoy your Valentine's Day with whoever your sweethearts are, and just enjoy this process. Really dig in, see what you find, see what you learn, and feel free to contact me, email, text, whatever you need to do so that we can have this turn out to be a great first assignment, and then we'll just carry on through. By the time you're done with this course, you're going to be tying everything up and putting a bow on it of all that you've learned and how that all fits with our standards. Have a great week.